a phi wave. I haven't looked up, I was just getting ready to look at phi waves, but I believe that this year thing here is going to be a phi wave going. But what's happening is on the magnets, the sun and moon, and I can explain the phases. I'll do that. Antonio and Patricia, I know how the phases work. I've been modeling them for a year. I know what causes the phases. It's a distance in
elevation,
attitude or altitude of the things. And the projection you see from underneath, from seeing it from the angle you see it at. I can mimic it. We can do this all in lab. Anybody can do this. Anybody can sit at home and do what I'm going to tell you. It's not magic. It doesn't take anything. I can make you get all your moon phases perfectly. All you need is a flashlight and a ball. And I know it's not a reflection, but think of it as a fluorescent reaction. It's a phosphorescent reaction.
Yeah, so the light is just mimicking.
It's emitting cold light.
Yeah.
It's reacting with radiation to emit in this magnetic system. So in this magnetic system, what's happening is the sun and the moon. Here's your heart-shaped part of the map, by the way. This is where, if you move your prime meridian right here to Giza, you'll have the Hawaiian Islands right in the cleft here, the place of creation.
Wow.
Where all your volcanoes are.
Yeah.
Also, you're going to notice that your ring of fire, all of your stuff, this is your ring of fire because of the magnetics pushing here. I can explain all of our phenomena mathematically and magnetically. So you have your ring of fire going out. Here's where on your map you would have Russia going around to Japan. Your actual lines.
Can you hold it a little bit higher, Cami? Sorry.
Pardon?
A little bit higher. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
your magnetic numbers that you're reading here, these are all right here. In other words, you're reading a map and these are travel maps even.
Okay, but
the one thing that you're off on here is putting the 360 or the 0 here and then just counting your ones there. Once you do that and fill in the map and then take the equator around for Hawaii, your map will fill in and show that what's happening in South America is pointed right here to Antarctica right here. Australia sits here on the 30th degree and points in where they have the star field here. I had them all, the stickies came off of it. This is Asia, Russia rushing around, Africa doing it underneath. All of the continents lay out, but they out perfect coordinates. In other words, you can read your coordinates. If you make the adjustment, you can take your coordinates and stick them on the map with the latitude lines. That's what, like I matched up latitude lines on them.
Mm-hmm.
And it just changes. Like South Africa is like this, it's bigger. South Africa is bigger than my little thumbnail, but it lays out.
Yeah.
And you're in a mirror image, but it's laying out towards this Australia here, and you're in a mirror image. I'm not showing it very well. Bob, do you guys want Bob to explain?
Hey, Bob.
Summer.
I don't know where you're at.
Hello,
Hi, guys.
Bob.
So, Cami, you wanted to know whether using a drawing program would help you to demonstrate. I don't know. I mean, the way that you were showing us then was clear.
Can you see it all?
Yeah.
Now, it needs to be condensed. The ratio needs to go more like a TV, a 4:3 ratio. But if you squeeze everything in, I think that's going to be...
Yeah, it'll make it a little bit more square. But the thing that really kicked it over for me, guys, is when you look at these 3 node points, right?
Mm-hmm.
These are actually... she showed you that. Where's the double-sided
I haven't
pyramid?
seen it this, but here, you can show them that. I have one right behind you. Right behind you. No, I haven't shown them that.
Okay,
Go
because
ahead.
this is what really did it for me.
I don't know what
The
that is.
pyramids. You remember we talked about the pyramids are double-sided like that?
Yeah.
So you have to imagine this on each one of these nodal points, okay? Except these two would be diametrically opposed, like south poles up
Yeah.
to a north pole up, okay? When you do that, then you start getting these grid lines, all right? This is the magnetic lines. As above, so below. This is actually the star patterns when it's transformed from the ball Earth into just a straight across grid. That's what this is. This is actually a real mapping of the star magnetic lines and also the star patterns above us. Actual coordinates. Okay, that's what this is.
So if you lay in your star fields, lay in Polaris, your planisphere views, here's your planisphere, put the North Pole here, put identical south poles here spinning clockwise and counterclockwise. You have your star fields, but they work like a clock with the moon and the sun each time controlling the exact speed of your star fields, which are luminescence on these two fields.
Right. Well, which will actually show up as mirror images.
Which will show up as mirror images.
So as the sun makes its way across,
the sun is going to go in this type of pattern, an egg pattern across, depending on, here's the equator down here, it's actually going to go with this following in an egg, the ellipse that you see.
Yeah, and the forces are going.
That's on the outside and on the inside here. But you can actually see where the ellipses and everything are by doing this. Watch this. Let's get you close on here.
Mm-hmm.
See your equator right here? Is in orange, right?
Yeah.
Okay, if you look at 23 degrees where your tropical Capricorn and Cancer are,
yeah,
they are right where your patterns change. Right here where it goes, this is your 23.5 degrees, is if you pull your pattern up, you'll see where Cancer and Capricorn, they do that. And what's happening is the sun is going further towards them and going lower. It hits that magnetic change right here. It hits right here and bounces back until it hits the break in the pattern here and then bounces back. So it's bouncing back between the two pattern breaks magnetically.
Right. So the sun and the moon are literally riding on magnetic lines of force, or a quote-unquote one-wheeled chariot.
A one-wheeled chariot above you going around. Now, the sun is moving faster than the moon, and so I can explain the moon phases by...
But from what you've just shown us, there is no circular path for the sun or moon to take, though. There's a heart-shaped one where you said that Hawaii sits in the...
No. Follow this shape right here. That's just your magnetic lines. Your sun lines are right here. They're the full circles.
Okay.
They do not make the cleft in, but your magnetics do, and your magnetics determine the sun, because it's pulled in an orbit around it. It's a circular orbit because it's a magnetic orbit, so it's not going to make the cleft. But these magnetic lines, which are pulling here and here, are giving us our volcanoes and also your Tahiti Express, which is, your south. All your directions follow your latitude, longitude lines. Your east-west are these lines. That's how they confuse us on the map, is these are magnetic. Your compasses are acting as magnets. So here's your anomaly, South America anomaly. You can
South Atlantic anomaly.
Atlantic, I'm sorry.
Slow down a little bit, sweetheart.
Slow down a little bit. But your anomalies and everything, if you lay the magnetic pattern on top of this, and if you take the pole where they show it's halved on Russian, that make one pole, which splits out the other, you can see where the anomaly splits out and where the two poles are on our magnetic Earth map. Right. I'll show you, I have it.
And so the reason that we have the quote-unquote South Pole is actually at about 67 degrees south, right, is because of the placement of these pyramids, if you will, that are highly charged magnetically. Now, the only thing to this, what this means ultimately, is that Antarctica is literally in two different places. I mean, it's in every place, but there are two bulged land masses, okay, that come out near south of South America, and the other one would be near Australia, okay? Those would be, somewhere in those vicinities would be where these other magnetic poles are, and thus, that is exactly what they're telling us is the South Atlantic anomaly, which they tell us is brought about by the Van Allen radiation belts, which is, of course, bullshit.
Right, and magnetics causes cooling, does it not? Or the other way around, sorry. The effects would cause... I'm sure I've seen lots of stuff with super-cooled magnets, which would make sense if the place that's highly magnetic is very, very cold.
Yeah, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that way, Nathan, because if you have materials made of low permeability, low magnetic permeability, i.e., this stuff, celestite.
What is it? Sorry, I didn't catch that. What was it called?
Celestite. This is what the moon is made out of.
You're screen sharing at the moment.
Uh-oh, you just got muted.
Oops, we're muted.
Yeah, you're screen sharing at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay, now we got you.
Okay, on the screen share, I'm sure we'll do that in a minute. On the screen share, I want to show you something.
Okay, so Nathan, what they just showed was called celestite.
That's a whole conversation. We can stay on it right now.
Yeah.
But I want to show you this magnetics before we go far.
Sure.
Do you remember what we were looking at?
Uh-huh.
This is our Earth's magnetic pattern. Now do you see my cursor?
Yeah.
Okay, take this pole and pull them together, stretch them together.
Uh-huh.
And you'll notice that it's going to pull this pole and this pole. So this is actually one pole.
Yeah.
Pulled together. You're going to have a triangle of pole. In other words, one in the center. This is the same one, but these really are separate. That's their illusion. We have 3 poles.
And that's why everything
Trinity.
is off by 60 degrees. That is also why they had to move the prime meridian from Giza to Greenwich, because otherwise everybody would make the connection between the stars and the star fields and the Earth on the prime meridians.
Everything
All
matches.
this makes
Yeah.
sense with the
Now, if
3
you
and
look
the
at-
pyramids and the up and down and that.
Are you ready? Look at your symbol right here. This is a compass. See how these are clock hands and they move?
Yeah.
That's because the North Pole or the South, whatever pole you call it, and the Sun, they rotate around this pole only, but you have 2 other poles right here and right here. But this is your clock face rotating around. Do you see?
Uh-huh.
Here's your circle of the Sun, but it's affected by 2 other poles.
It takes a little while to wrap your head around, but it makes perfect sense when you do. I mean,
Oh.
it's like, oh my
you
God.
guys are
Like this picture,
brilliant.
That's
this
what
is
they're...
the last symbol. This is the last symbol.
So the set square that they have on the Masonic emblem is telling you where the other 2 poles are.
Absolutely. And you can read it magnetically on the pattern. It just also tells you how to continue your pattern. And here you go right here. Here's your sun's path around the North Pole, and then you have your other poles here and here. But that's your last symbol.
So let me get this straight. They're hiding
This gets
the
pulled
fact
into
that
one
the
pole
Earth is
and
flat,
apart.
and we have 3 magnetic poles. That's what they're
Absolutely.
That's right.
Yes.
But they've been sold to us as a South Atlantic anomaly. And also, like I said, even if you look at Wiki right now, it'll tell you that the South Pole, and I've talked about this on Globebusters a million times, they tell you that the South Pole is around 67 south, 66 to 67 south, right? Which is nowhere near 90 south. But it is in close enough proximity to cause an anomaly, a pressure. Remember, opposing like poles repel, okay, which creates a pressure, okay, and that pressure it not only shows up, it shows up in the form of the Ring of Fire, for one, which is perfectly on one of these things. Oh, we're not sharing, are we?
Oh, okay, I just quit now. Now you can do it. I just put you up. So it's perfectly on this. The Ring of Fire, all of your stuff is on here.
The Ring of Fire is on there because
Is the Ring of Fire what you've
pressure.
highlighted?
Everything is a product of the magnetic. All the weather patterns and everything that goes, they all match up to. Oh, I just ran over my dog.
I'm sorry, Doji.
honey.
Doji.
Hey, puppy.
Sorry, dog.
It's funny that both of you love Hawaii so much, and there's Hawaii in
Yeah,
the
right
center
on
of
the
the
flat.
heart-shaped
In
cleft.
our heart.
In our heart.
Yes.
Isn't Hawaii the home of the goddess of the earth?
Pele, yes.
Pele, yes.
It's the god of creation. In other words, that's the magnetic. It's the spot here. It's the international date line. It's where the international date line belongs, because each day the sun goes across around, and each time it takes off here, it switches our celestial plates on the moving clocks that we're on.
Yeah.
So again, take a planisphere and put your south poles here and here and make them duplicate moving both clockwise and this moving counterclockwise with your Polaris in the middle.
Yes.
Then
Now,
you can overlay every continent on the grid lines, which again come out that Australia is, I believe, I'm not doing a mirror image, but angled out that way. Like you said, it angled for the light, but it catches the light on the arc perfectly east-west for Australia. You just put the coordinates in it.
now
it
the
works.
implications of this, guys, is not only three magnetic central points on the Earth, but it also applies because as above, so below, there's a third object up there.
This is what I'm thinking from the diagram, because there's something we're forgetting when we're looking at the diagram. We're forgetting the POV.
Yes.
Oh, because they're describing this, say, hold on, this is only a 2-dimensional version